Okay, let's begin tonight's Northwest Communications Union District Governing Board organizational meeting. It is May 11th at 6:08 p.m. To begin tonight's agenda, are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Emily?
Yeah, so I would recommend you make a few changes. One is that we would like for NRPC, we like a specific motion from the CD on the invoices that we've sent that were previously approved as part of the CD planning grant. One is that in talking with Sean, we realized that we don't have a clear system for determining subcommittee and subcommittee chairs. Looking at Robert's rules, what's typically done is that they're appointed, but who does that appointing should be in the bylaws. So it should be in the bylaws that the governing board votes and appoints. I would recommend is probably the easiest system for now because you don't have like an executive committee or something of the sort yet. And then this might be able to fit under other business, but it'd be worth talking about your meeting date.
And then the only other addition that I would like to add in is action to be taken in regards to funding under H315. Anybody else? I need a motion to make those changes.
So move.
Seconded.
I think Ken, was that you first?
Yeah.
Yep. Motion made by Ken to accept agenda changes, seconded by Jake. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Roll call. Sean Kayo, Chair, Representative for Enosburg and Enosburg Village, or Village of Enosburg. Ken.
Ken Millman, representative for the town of Alberg.
Dave.
Dave Stanley, Fairfax.
Brenda.
Brenda Churchill, Bakersfield.
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay Raymond, Fairfax representative.
JR.
J.R. Cox, Alberg Village representative.
Jake.
Jake Kane, Sheldon.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And Emily. Sorry, Emily.
Emily Kloft with Northwest Regional Planning.
Okay, item number 3, election of officers. We can do 3 and 4. Election of officers, so election of chair is up first. We need nomination for chair.
I nominate Sean Kayo as chair.
And I second it.
I'll accept. Any other nominations for chair? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Election of vice chair.
So how do we, I would, okay, so unless somebody at this meeting wants to do that, is there any point in nominating people who are not in attendance? Or should we cross that bridge in case we
You
don't need to?
certainly can if you have someone interested. Yeah, I would nominate Mary Kay as vice chair if I'm legally allowed to do that. Can I do that? I don't know if I can. Maybe. I don't know.
I think you can.
Well, I would happily, legally or illegally, second that.
And I will accept.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other vice chair nominations? Okay. All those in favor of Mary Kay serving as vice chair? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, next item would be NRPC invoices. Emily, can you recap those for us? And then we'll need a motion to approve those.
Yeah, so I don't have a treasurer's report because this is a regular meeting, but NRPC had 2 invoices, one on the 30th that covered the time previous to November that the CD paid for, which was $1,792.76, and one be from July to December 2020. That was $3,635.13. I'm putting those in the chat as well for you. They were approved as part of the CD planning grant, but it's ideal to have a motion on record for when we make for the payment, just to have everything clear.
Sure. So motion to approve payment of NRPC invoices for administrative services, one for 1792.76 and a second for 3635.13.
I would second that.
Motion made by Ken to accept NRPC admin services invoices, seconded by Jake. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. And next, it looks like we had an item to make a small edit to the bylaws. And this is to just clarify the appointment of members and chairs. An edit to the bylaws to appoint members and chairs to with approval from the governing board.
So we just need a motion for that?
Yep.
So moved.
I will second again.
Motion made by Ken, seconded by Jake. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Approved. As of this point, communications is the only committee that has met, so we'll wait until we don't know about finance, until Stu and Everett get back in. That I believe finance is getting rescheduled. But we will probably wait until we have at least all the committees have met at least once, and then we'll the board here can approve all of them in the same evening. Makes sense to me. Agreed?
Agreed.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, the only other item that we added was there are some funds coming available. Is the RFP officially issued yet, Emily?
I have not seen it officially go through yet.
Okay. I do not understand issued allowed ARPA funds by the Treasury Department for interim guidance. Still waiting on the RFP. It's funds made available by H315, capacity, operational capacity dollars, operational money, planning fund. Emily, I know you read into it a little bit more, and I know you sent me kind of like a, hey, this is what we should apply for.
Yeah, so there's sort of at least how it's being proposed here, and this is not the final RFP. We haven't received that yet. There's a suggestion of 2 rounds of funding. The first is proposals for costs incurred between May 1st, 2021 and July 1st, 2021. So essentially like 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months. And then there's a second round for costs incurred between July and December 2021. So my initial, and there's 1.6 million, I believe. Yeah, divided by 9 CUDs equally would be about $177,000 in funding. So I would imagine the CUD wants to shoot for somewhere around that range.
At round one?
What?
Round one, or is that in total?
That's
round one?
total. That's total currently funded. If H360 were to pass, I believe another $5 or $6 million would be shoveled into this program.
Yep. Okay.
And H360 just went to 3rd reading in Senate today, so that's looking
Positive.
positive for passing, and a lot more money would be shoveled. But for this round, so I mean, in terms of short-term expenses, my thoughts were RPC support ongoing. And then potentially hiring a consultant in to review the feasibility study and business plan with open access in mind. Might give you that. And then this says to 2024, but I realize now it's the end of 2021.
Yep.
But operational expenses, because that would free up your VCF funds, which are much more flexible to be used for grant match. Because that's to have that private funding is great for grant match because it's not encumbered in any way. You can use it to match federal. That's really valuable. And then broadband administrator might be something that you would want to look at, hiring a broadband administrator with that fund.
At least with this would get us half a year of a broadband admin or a program administrator.
Program admin, yeah.
Okay.
Good catch on the matching funds too, Emily. That was
Yep.
excellent.
Yeah, those were just my initial thoughts.
So we're still waiting for the official RFP. I was anticipating it by now. I got a little bit of a heads up prior to even this email getting sent out. But certainly when the official RFP comes out, I know it's gonna certainly for round one. You can kind of see it there in red. There's going to be a quick turnaround for proposals to be submitted to PSD. I heard as early as next Monday for the deadline. So we need kind of preliminary approval for Emily and I to work through this to get this submitted.
Absolutely.
Did you want that in the form of a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, I would so motion that.
I would second it.
Motion for the chair and NRPC to work towards a proposal for funding via H315 made by Brenda, seconded by Mary Kay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
That's good news.
Yes, it is. I was excited.
Thanks for
to-
taking the time, Sean.
Yeah, I was excited when I got the call that the money was on the way, because I think we all agree that capacity and operational funds is certainly a stage at what we need now. So that was somewhat of a relief to say, yeah, okay, great. This is something that's going to be super useful to us. Okay, where's my agenda? Other business. I only had the other item. I had brought this up to Emily. I've gotten some feedback that for several communities, Highgate, Fairfield, Enosburg Village, that Tuesdays are tough because they also have community meetings. Those either trustees or select boards those nights as well. So I wanted to, we don't have to make a decision tonight, but certainly want to, it's too late for next week anyway, but certainly want to throw that out there is, do we consider hosting these on another evening other than Tuesdays? Since we have, appears to be, as many as 3 of our 12 cannot attend. I spoke to Jonathan at Fairfield in length, and he was pretty blunt. He's like, I just can't make meetings, because they're on Tuesdays and they fall on the same nights. Enosburg Village is the same way, and apparently Highgate is in the same boat.
What about Thursdays? Because a lot of select boards are Mondays.
Monday, Tuesdays, yeah.
Yeah.
And Alberg just changed from Tuesdays to now Wednesdays. So Thursdays are good at this for me.
For the most part, for me.
Brenda, JR, Jake.
Baseball happened to luck out this week. Baseball seems to be Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'm trying to juggle that. But I mean, one's as good as the other. So if it works well for most people, Thursday should be good for me. I'll try to make it work.
I like Thursday. I'm on another meeting right now along with this one. So
Yep.
I've got my foot in one and my head in the other.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'd make
likewise,
a
I like
motion.
Thursdays too.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we move the meetings to Thursdays.
I would second that. Yeah.
Okay, motion to move meetings to Thursdays made by Brenda, seconded by Jake. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Sounded unanimous. Okay, I would assume, I mean, technically we can move it, but I think it's already scheduled. I say we do one more next Tuesday, and then from there on, we go Thursdays. Does that make sense, Emily? I think that's probably,
Yeah, that makes sense. I think give people a chance to,
Yep.
if they didn't catch the change, they'll
Yep.
show up Tuesday.
exactly. Yep, okay. Okay, any other business? Any updates from anyone? This isn't a full meeting, but feel free to chime in. I don't believe we have any public members. We have no one in the waiting room.
Two things that I've kind of missed somewhere. One was a manager. I don't know where we are with that. And then the other thing was probably 6 weeks ago, we talked about maybe joining with another CUD. And I must have missed a meeting and missed those two subjects.
So with the funds potentially that will, so we're approaching or we're addressing the program manager, administrative manager in a couple of different ways. I would say the rural business development, right, Emily, is one that we were kind of looking at as kind of more of a consultant, but
Yes, yeah.
and then certainly with what we just approved, the proposal application for the funds available in H315, we seek to address that of having of hiring a consultant to come in and be our program manager or administrative manager, whatever we're going to call it. We got to decide. I do have an RFP that another CUD has issued for that, and I have an idea of what they're paying for a consultancy fee for hourly rate. So that'll be helpful for us when we get to that stage. Certainly, probably a PMO project is to review that and identify what we're going to look at. But yeah, we're getting there. We don't. I would say, we probably have the funds to get something started, but we've been hesitant to do that because it's the only funds we have. Would you agree with that, Emily? If we exhaust those funds for a consultant to come in and be our administrative manager, then we don't have operating dollars at all. We can't do our insurance, can't do anything.
Okay, that explains it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So we're just
then-
not there yet. We don't have that financial foundation to make that move yet.
Sure.
At least that was my feeling. As far as there were discussions previously with Lamoille regarding either, there was not a broad, but kind of a loose discussion, let's call it, on the potential of doing a legitimate organizational merger, as well as just doing a simple MOU and having a clear understanding of our collaborative efforts. Unfortunately, Lamoille's program manager passed away, and she was leading those efforts, and no one has really quite picked up the pieces and run with that conversation since. It's something that I think between us, Lamoille, and NEK, I think that's certainly something that we want to explore. I also, and Leah at the time understood our position as we were a few steps behind even Lamoille, and we weren't necessarily in that position to know what type of collaborations we needed. Now that we have the feasibility, that's kind of that first big step for us, to help craft those. What are our needs? What utilities do we need to make agreements with? What private providers do we see as a good fit for our area or our network, as well as obviously I think there's certainly we want to collaborate and be good neighbors to our other CUDs, but what that looks like yet, I don't know. But that's where we stand. Is the conversations were had. Unfortunately, they kind of fell by the wayside due to a tragedy, but likely they'll pick back up again.
What was, did you say Leah? What was her name?
Leah, yeah. She also worked for the RPC down there, right, Emily?
Yeah, she worked for Lamoille County RPC, and she was the one who was hired for their, the CUD had hired her to do program kind of management support the same way that NRPC is doing. And so, yeah, she unfortunately passed away.
Terrible.
So that's where we're at with those two items. Any other questions, topics to bring up?
I would just say in regards to the VCF funds too, one thing to consider is just the cash flow sort of the CUD. Like I know H315 funds will be 50-50 grant, 50% upfront, 50% reimbursement. So having those funds for your cash, to have cash in the bank is definitely really crucial, so that you can pay back that 50% reimbursement, and just keeping an eye on that as we go forward with the financials will be important.
Something that we should look at, Emily, as well is, which we kind of made that assumption for the rural business development grant, but trying to put a dollar sign on executive time for in-kind match for the grants. I know we had discussed that, yeah, these are options that we can do, but we never really did the math. It'd be good for us to have that in our pocket, so when it comes time for any grant, we can say, okay, well, great, we know that, you know, we're gonna have, you know, 3 months of executive time that we can account for, and it's this amount over a 3-month period, or, you know, what have you. You get where I'm going.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's something I know Sean works with a few boards that have come up with rates for that, so I can chat with him about that too.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? Any members of the public? Don't believe so. Okay, I believe we're finished unless somebody else has anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn made by Brenda,
Second.
We're good.
seconded by Mary Kay. All those in
I
favor
wish-
signify by stating aye.
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 I wish we could bump up our call.
Yeah, we flew through this one, huh?
Because
We are
that
adjourned.
one won't be so fast.
We are adjourned.